Finally, the boat is back in the water again, and that is sheer luck this year. There's been a lot of work going on. I was not certain I would make it in time, but I did. I managed to get done hours before launch, so it did get launched, and now we are sailing. The big problem this winter was issues with the rudder and so on. Everything is fixed and taken care of, and everything works really well. It seems we just sailed for about an hour or so, so yeah, time will tell, but so far it looks good. Well, the anchor is down. We are anchored right outside a place that's referred to as Little Bergen, between some islands, and it is supposed to be extremely gusty winds, 30 knots in the gusts. Right now we have gusts of about 15-16 knots, and the wind is westerly, southwest perhaps, and at 2 o'clock tonight the wind is gonna shift to come straight from the north, and that means this island that you can see behind us now, which is a rather tall island, that is going to give us perfect shelter from that wind. Yeah, it's the next day. We had an extremely windy night, but the anchor held well, and all was good. I slept perhaps better than I should have, but I was also really tired. But yeah, I'm a bit concerned about that. I was able to sleep well. Now we have put up sails. The winds are blowing about 15 knots ish, depending on the area, and gusting to about 30. So we have put in second reef in the main, and we have just about half the Genoa rolled out, and we are doing about 7 knots, between 7 and 8 knots, sometimes 6.5, but that is probably what we should do. So the whole speed of the boat is 7.9, so keeping a conservative sail plan today is the goal. The gust in between the islands can be much higher than what's forecasted. That's why we since we don't know this area that well, it is really wise to be conservative with the sail plan, because it can really shift around the corner or something, and yeah, it's better to be prepared. So I'm watching out for other boats and enjoying my sail today. It's been raining a lot and snowing this morning, The sun came out and we decided to set off. The forecast is gonna die down, and in the end of the day we are gonna struggle for wind, I guess, in some areas, but I guess there will be enough. We'll see how far we get, so yeah, talk to you guys along the way. We are heading down on the southeast end of Hoskøy, and we are gonna turn towards Sotra. So that's our game plan, and things are going great. We're doing about 7 knots still. The seas are a lot flatter down here than it was further up. So the island on this side was Hoskøy. So yeah, it's beautiful sailing. Perfect. It is a bit gusty around here. And now we have hail and rain and the sun is gone. But it'll be back, so it's all good. But otherwise, this is Bergen. Hopefully a place I will never take my boat into. Snow on the mountains, so that's really nice to to behold, but it makes it a bit cold. The wind has dropped off, and we have gotten in bit of a lee from this island, and also this stuff here is gonna affect the wind, but it picks up again quite soon. So we are trying to make it past this nib sticking out in front of us. So the autopilot is correcting the course again, and I guess we will make it just fine without tacking, so that's good. I don't know if you can hear me, but it is rather windy and it's rather miserable. We are heading down a bit of water that is has a lot of current in it at this stage. And the wind is rather gusty, and yeah, you can see it's snowing. It's not really nice, but we're gonna get through this, and the water's a bit further down is perfect. We are going to go right by the airport. I was considering taking the other side of these islands, but yeah, I opted for the inner route. I think that's more favorable for wind and speed at this particular point in time. So yeah, the camera is getting wet. So I'm gonna stop recording and yeah, talk to you guys in a bit. So you can see there is following current here, so it is nice. Look at this cozy little place. Oh, it's really really nice. Boat behind us is motor sailing with just a snow up. Sometimes he outruns the wind and the sail backs on him. But he sits inside and enjoys the sail in this horrible weather, so it's understandable. We have had a lot of wind in several stages of this last bit, and yeah, it's been a fast sail and a cold one. Well, it's about 20 minutes later or so. And yeah, no, it's really, really nice. So I'm enjoying myself. The islands that you can see at the far end here, that is, I guess, where we are anchoring at the last one, in between the last islands from here. So yeah, I guess in 2 hours time the anchor will be down, or thereabout. So could roll out a bit more Genoa now. I don't think it's going to be very gusty from now on. We'll see. Just wait a little bit, because the next the next bit of bad weather could be just around the corner. So we'll just play it nice and we will see what happens. Our anchorage is right in that cut behind there, but we have decided to continue sailing and go all the way to the next anchorage today. So we'll see how that pans out. So I need to focus to get through this maze of rocks and skerries. So yeah, I'll give you an update in a little bit. So this is the archipelago that I was planning on anchoring in. Our anchorage would be right in between these 3 islands. There's one, there's another one, and there's the third one. We sailed on this way on this side of the third one, and straight through, and it was a bit hectic. I needed to hand steer through these islands because the winds were really shifting and there's a lot of shallows in there. But it went all well. It was a bit exciting, terrifying I guess it's a better word, but it's all good. Now we have a long stretch of water ahead of us. We are just going to pass this fish farm, and all the way down there you can see the land almost disappears in some rain and nastiness. We are going a little bit further than that. We have been at anchor here. This is not the first time we are at this anchorage. This is one of the more frequently used anchorages by us. I've seen other boats anchored here once. Sometimes it's a little rolly, but not really bad at all. We came in here last night. I was taking down the sails. Right before I took down the sails, I noticed a big wall of nastiness behind us, quite far behind us, about where we were supposed to anchor last night. About that area, we could see it was like a wall of grey, and we could feel the wind picking up. And we were just outside this anchorage, and I took down the sails and started the engine and motored in here as quickly as I could, and aimed for the spot that I'd like to anchor at, and just dropped the anchor while the boat was still moving forward, just because then I could drop the anchor really quickly and make sure the chain wouldn't land on top of the anchor. Stopped the chain when I deployed almost everything, put the snubber on, and the wind hit. So before I'd set the anchor, the wind was howling, and the anchor needed a few. I dropped it in about 30 meters of water, so that's too deep anyway, so it needed to drift in a little bit towards the shore here before it set. And yeah, I was a bit concerned if it would set in time, but it set really well. So then when I just seeked shelter behind the spray head here and monitored the situation, and when it came down, I tried to back in the anchor even more. It didn't budge, so the wind had really backed in the anchor. So I had the engine running the whole time, so if I needed to, I could start motoring back out and try to pull the anchor in a different direction or something. So it was a bit close, but it was all good. Otherwise, the night was calm. The wind calmed down gradually, and it became really pleasant in here. And then we went to bed, and I guess around 2 o'clock this night, sometime, perhaps 1 or 2, another one of these squalls came by, and out of nowhere it really hammered us, but the anchor held well, but I had to go up and have a look around, and everything was okay, but it was blowing. We had a little squall this morning as well, but that was nothing compared to the two other ones. So now it's time to go a bit further, but since we did 2 legs yesterday, we had to come up with a new plan for today. So we are heading to Bergen. That's a town we have never visited. I've never been there actually, so that's gonna be nice. I guess we will spend the night there if there's room, and charge up the batteries and fill up with fuel and so on. I'm a bit low on fuel. I haven't filled up before we left, so I wasn't planning on using the motor anyway, so it's just been the fuel diesel heater that heats up the boat. That's the only thing that's been really using fuel. So I guess I've motored less than 20 minutes, so I guess the digging in of the anchor has been the longest periods of running the engine. So that's about it. I'll pick up the anchor now and we will set sail. It's not far, it's just yeah, I guess an hour or so to sail. The bad thing about doing this is that it puts me in a really bad position for sailing home tomorrow due to the wind direction, but we will make a long tack, I guess, and we'll gain the ground lost, so that's good. I want to be able to fill up the fuel tank, because otherwise I need to carry the fuels in cans, and when I can just pour it into the tank from the pump, that's what I'll do. And then I will get a chance to charge up the batteries as well, and that's nice. So the disadvantages outweighs the advantages, I guess. So that's why it's a viable option. So now I'll get to work and we'll set sail.